How's it going, folks? Rosendo from MLH here. Looking forward to another great workshop with Global Hack Week. How y'all doing? Let me know in the chat where you're coming from, where you're joining us from, how things are going at your side of the world. Right now, it is 11 a.m. in New York City, where I'm currently located, and we've got some really awesome content headed to you right now from our friends at Bright Data. So we've got Raphael Levi, who's going to be coming in and teaching us all about unblockable web automations and how you could build them yourselves. So without any further ado, let's go ahead and bring them up on stage. Oh, by the way, before I get caught up in sharing everything here and getting folks up on stage, make sure you do register and check in. We've got folks from all over the world. That's pretty awesome. And once again, without any further ado, let's go ahead and bring Raphael up here. Raphael, how you doing?
Hey, how's it going, Rosando? Thank you for having me. It's a pleasure to be with you guys.
You've got it. All right, take it
away. Alrighty. Hi, everybody. Again, my name is Raphael from Bright Data. I'm a DevRel, and I'm here to teach you on how to collect data. We're going to be using some of the Bright Data products. We're going to explore some of the other platforms out there as well. And let's go and check out the agenda for today. So I'm sorry I didn't create any pretty slides, and I'm keeping it in .md file, but I'm sure for those that know what a .md is will appreciate this. Let's keep it simple, right? So basically, we're going to start off with an environment check. We're going to basically create an account, set up an API key. We do have some of the challenges on the MLH page, so I'm going to try to cover everything so that when you do those challenges, you shouldn't have any problems with it. So after the API key, we're going to go into the web unlocker. I don't know how many of you guys tried building scrapers. I'm going to show you a product that just kind of removes all the headache of getting blocked. I don't know, me personally, I spend weeks sometimes building those scrapers and trying to figure out why am I getting blocked, why am I getting 403. So web unlocker is just kind of like removes all of that headache, and then you can concentrate on parsing the data and actually working with it. Then we're going to go through an automation integration, right? So there's a lot of platforms out there like Mate.com, N8N, that will help create automation in a low-code environment. So I'm going to review N8N a little bit. I'm going to show you some of the templates that are available and how to work with the Bright Data node. MCP, I mean, that's a new thing. I don't know how many of you are building anything with AI agents. MCP is basically tools that they can use, and I'm going to go into that more. And we're going to check out the SERP tracker, right? So if you are into brand monitoring or anything like that, and you want to know what your keywords are standing, so we're going to review that as well as one of the challenges, and then we're going to wrap it up with some Q&A. Now, I do want to mention that I want this to be more an interaction kind of per demonstration, like instead of a monologue. I do like to answer questions. So along the line, if you guys have questions and you want me get into more details, and if I do have time, I will definitely jump in there. So let's start with creating an account, right? So obviously, let me pull up a browser here so we can actually do this. I'm not going to show you how to create an account, right, guys? Go to brightdata.com, click on the sign up, fill out the information, boom, you're ready to go. But what I do want to show you is the control panel, right? So once you signed up, once you are here, firstly, we have a built-in AI that can help you with anything, right? So you can literally ask it questions. I want to do ABC. How do I do it? It's going to tell you it's trained on our data. So this is probably the best tool out there to help you get things started. But I do want to show you what we have here. So firstly, API key. API key is located in your account settings. So once you register, go to your account setting. And then you will see a new setting. So basically, user access API key, right? So create an API key, save it somewhere. You can only view it once, right? Afterwards, you'll need to get a new API key. So save it somewhere where nobody can see it. This is something that we will be using for sending requests through our proxies. Then we're going to go to the proxies. Now, don't mind, this is my demo account. So I got a bunch of things, and the pricing is all messed up here. So disregard all that. The main thing that I want you to see is how do you create a zone? We're going to need a web unlocker zone. So click Add Unlocker API, and SERP API. These are the two zones that I would want you to set up. And that's the two zones that we're going to be using a bit later on with some scripts to kind of just give you a feel of how it's done, right? So I already have SERP and unlocker zones here set up. That's pretty much it that you need to do, right? So sign up, create an API key, create these two zones, and we're good to go. So now let's get into some demos, right? I'm sure you guys didn't come here to see the control panel. You see here, you want to see some cool stuff like, well, let's get blocked and let's get unblocked, right? So for blocking, right, I'm going to use data center IPs. Now, I'm not sure how many of you are familiar what type of IPs are there. Data center IPs is probably the lowest quality IPs, right? These are server IPs. These are usually flagged as low quality IPs. So I'm going to be using them to show you that it's getting blocked, right? Well, I need to get blocked. Sometimes it's not that easy. So basically, let's get back to Visual Studio. I got a couple of scripts ready here. Now, I also had a short link that I shared earlier. I'm not sure if it's possible to drop it into chat right now or something, the short link for the folder. Hold on a second. Let's see if Zonda remembers it. Maybe not. It's in private chat. Yeah. No, this is not it. Oh, you changed it? It was a short. Hold on a second.
Yeah, it's behind that link.
Yeah. All right, cool. So guys, you do have already access to both of these, right? So I do have an environment, so you will need to create a .env and set up your key there, right? Or the zone name, right? There's two ways to work with Web Unlocker. There's an API way and there's a proxy way, right? So we're going to explore both. I'm going to use SERP in the API request, right? So we're going to be using the API key. Now, Web Unlocker, I'm using the old school way. I'm going to have the username password. For those that have been scraping, should be familiar with that as well. So let's start with the Web Unlocker demo. So just to quickly go over the code so that you are aware, this is going to be the target URL. Let's check out what it is. So this way you are aware, right? So these are headphones. I searched something, found some, and this is the URL that we're going to try to scrape. I hope you guys are familiar with Walmart.com. I wasn't sure, what would be a universal website. We could try Amazon, but Amazon is a little easier. So I wanted to pick something a little more advanced in the bot detection system, right? Amazon, it's easier. You'll probably surprised, but it is. So basically, the only thing that I'm going to be doing here is I have a Web Unlocker, false or true. And the only thing that changes is the zone that I'm using, right? So if Web Unlocker is true, I'm going to be using the Web Unlocker zone. If Web Unlocker is false, I'm going to be using the data center zone, right? So everything else is exactly the same. I'm not adding anything. I'm not reducing anything. Basically, I'm sending the request exactly the same way, just two different zones. And I'm going to try with Web Unlocker false. I'm going to send 10 requests, and let's just see what happens. Now, Walmart is a little bit complicated because it doesn't just block you, it kind of makes you wait for the timeout. So while we are waiting for this timeout to happen, because I do want you guys to experience how it feels to get blocked, I'm going to talk a little bit about proxy quality, right? Different types of IPs. So Bright Data has about 4 different types of IPs. We got data center IPs, we have residential IPs, we have ISP IPs, and we have mobile IPs. These are all different IPs that you guys can utilize to collect data, or products like Web Unlocker actually does it themselves. It's a script that's smart that will figure out, oh, this domain works better with this IP, this domain works better with this IP. It's going to try different IPs, it's going to try different headers, and it's basically the whole system is to make sure that the data comes back to you, right? So it has automatic retries in the back end, and it's going to do all the work for you. You don't need to code retries. You don't need to code different headers and cookies. You don't need to code anything, right? All you need to do is send a request and get the data back. So right now I'm sending a request, and as you can see, I'm still sitting here not getting anything back because the server is basically just playing with me saying, hey, I know you're not a human, right? I can tell that you're a bot. So I'm just going to make you hang there for a little bit. Some websites will be a little more proactive in blocking. They're going to send you a 403 right away. This one's going to throw, I don't remember exactly what. We'll see it in a second. I think the timeout is 60, no, probably 2 minutes, right? We've been sitting here for at least 1 minute already. So most likely it's just going to time out at 120 seconds. And let's get the timeout already. So the difference between the IPs is residential is actual devices, right? Devices, computers, laptops that send the request sends through. These are the most popular for heavy scraping because, well, these are IPs of real users. So basically, when you're accessing the sites like Walmart, Amazon, and all others, these IPs are potential customers, so they don't get blocked as much. They have a higher score right away. So in general, you'll have a better success rate with them. But the goal here is I want to show you guys that you don't have to worry about IP types. All you need to do is select the right product for the right job. It feels much longer in getting blocked. While they're literally like just wasting our time. But hey, it's gonna start coming in. If not, I'm just gonna cancel it. I'm gonna show you that it's just gonna work with Web Unlocker. We're gonna get the data back. I tested it before. It was actually much faster in getting blocked, but okay. Eventually, we're going to get it. So mobile IPs is obviously mobile devices that the requests go through, and data center is just servers with a bunch of IPs on them. ISP is actual residential static IPs that you guys can send requests through. Sometimes static IPs are good depending on what the use case is. There's session scraping where you need to keep the IP for as long as possible. And here the errors are actually starting coming in. Anyways, it fails. It fails. All of them gonna fail. It just it's getting a little longer depending on the timeout. So I'm gonna just stop this, not to waste time. So the next thing is I'm just gonna switch this to true, and the only thing that is switching here. The only thing that I'm switching is basically to this, right? And let's try the same thing, and you'll see the difference, right? So if before I was getting blocked. Now I'm sending a request through Web Unlocker true, and we should start getting results coming in. So for those that are familiar with scraping, this removes the headache of matching headers, matching cookies, matching geolocations, match everything. There's a lot of things that you need to match in order not to get blocked, right? So this is basically the idea here is send the request, pull the HTML, parse it, work with the data. And as you can see, we are getting successful results. So that's going to be one of your challenges, right? Using Web Unlocker to send some requests. So as you saw, you create a Web Unlocker zone, send a request. Now, here, just want to show you guys, in the Web Unlocker, there is a way to use an API key as well, right? So basically, whenever you are sending it, you can use the API key two ways of going about it. Just to quickly demonstrate you here in the docs, you can get examples. Web Unlocker API features. And kind of get so here is the curl that you would send, right? So you provide the URL, make sure you mention the zone. So whatever you guys are more comfortable, this is the API endpoint you send the request to. Okay, perfect. So let's just check it out. We got 10 out of 10 successful results, and we can actually open them up. And let's see here some of the data. And as you can see, we got the name. It's not as pretty as you would get because we are not executing a lot of JavaScripts, right? So the website is not getting built correctly. But I'll tell you one thing. All the data is here. You got the pricing. You got the description. You got the shipping information, and so on, right? So most of the data is here. And of course, if you guys want to load it as take screenshots, then use a browser, right? So this is non-browser way. Send a request, get the HTML back. So the next thing on the agenda is for us to talk a little bit about third-party automation. Now, I don't know how many of you are familiar with N8N. We actually did a workshop not long ago with them. I really like their product, right? I've tried a few low-code environments to create automations. And I don't know, I like NANet, so I'm going to choose this to demonstrate. Um, we actually have a node, a Bright Data node for this. Now, I don't have any projects here. The way I would approach for you guys to explore this is to go to templates, right? That's the best way. Let's check out some of the works that's been done there. You can do a search for Bright Data. You will see there's about 137 different projects with Bright Data integrated in them. So you can, review it, see what is more like something that maybe you need, right? There's so many different projects here. I'm not going to go through them, but you can pick a project, kind of get a feel of how it works. But let's pick something simple. For example, summarize Glassdoor company info with Google Gemini, right? So you can already see the flow here. This is the flow. You can integrate it into your platform and you can start working on it. Now, I'm not going to teach you guys on how to, you need some API keys. This will tell you step by step, add your Gemini key, add your Bright Data key, and so on. I'm going to skip all of that. I'm not here to teach you guys how to do N8N, but I do want to show you, right? So this is the flow, and we have a Bright Data node that I want to touch a little bit on because it's new. As you can see, even this flow, it's using Bright Data, right? It's using the API here, but it's using the HTTP request. So actually, this could be replaced with the node, right? So here we have three types of products. We have marketplace datasets. These are pre-collected data. If you go to web datasets, this is what this is, right? So all the datasets that we have, hundreds and hundreds of millions of records, different websites. Web scraper action, meaning like we actually have pre-built scrapers. You trigger a scraper, it goes, collects the data, and provides you already a parse data. And web unlocker, right? That's what we just talked about. Web unlocker, access and extract data to any URL, right? With web unlocker, you can send the request to any URL, and it's going to get you the data back. It's so smart that if a website requires for JavaScript rendering, you can actually have it open a browser, render the JavaScript, and then provide you the HTML back, right? So Web Unlocker is a smart solution for kind of like everyday use, right? So send request, get the data back. So just to touch base a little bit more, right? Marketplace dataset. So first, the way I would approach it, right? There's a few things that you need to do. First, you need to retrieve all the datasets, right? List available datasets. Then you need to get the metadata for a specific data. So basically, you want to know what fields you can filter, right? So retrieve metadata for a specific dataset by dataset ID. So step 1, list datasets. Step 2, get the metadata. Step 3, filter according to a specific column, right? So for example, you do metadata, you see there is a name, you want to filter by name, and then it will provide you with a snapshot ID, and then with snapshot ID, you can already download the data, right? So it's 4 steps. Step 1 is list the dataset. Step 2, list the metadata for that dataset. Step 3, create a filter. After the filter is done, download the data, right? So that's how it works in a marketplace, pre-collected data. Web scraper API is similar, but it's not, you don't need to filter here, right? So here, usually, you have inputs, right? So for example, what do we have here? So initiate batch extraction from extract structured data from a single URL, right? So if we choose this, here we have data sets. For example, Amazon products. Here you can provide basically, if you send an input Amazon URL, then it will output. You can choose which format you prefer to work with. Boom, that's it, right? It's more simple than dataset. You don't need to create all this crazy stuff. You just need to do this. This will provide you with a snapshot ID. And then what you will need to do is download the snapshot, right? So this will return you a snapshot ID. With the snapshot ID, you can do delivery snapshot. So this will obviously, the input will be from the previous node as snapshot ID. And so on, right? So the logic is, trigger, you get an ID. By that ID, you collect the data. Because why? Because, well, listen, sometimes you can have, let's say, 1,000 URLs. It might take a minute or two to collect them all, right? So in order not to sit there and wait, you can create a loop where you can check if it's ready. So another thing that it has is monitor progress of the snapshot, right? So obviously you need to make sure that it's ready. So step 1, trigger. Step 2, monitor. Step 3, download. Okay, so it's a little bit different than the data set filtering. And of course, the web unlocker, very simple, send the request, get the HTML back. So I'm not sure, maybe we should try executing. I don't know how you guys, I don't feel like adding all these API keys, and it's a bit complicated. But how about this? You can play with it, create yourself an account, integrate Bright Data Node, and get the challenge that, and we're going to move forward to our MCP. Now, what is MCP? Let me just do a search, Bright Data MCP. So we have a GitHub page for the MCP server. What is MCP? MCP is basically a universal protocol that was designed for LLMs to talk with tools. It's kind of like a USB-C of LLM, right? So you can literally plug everything in and it's going to work. It's kind of like before, tools were all different, LLMs were all different. It was really hard to make things work. Then OpenAI created this MCP, and it's great. It's literally a game changer. So what in Bright Data we decided to do is we created an MCP server that has access to all of our tools. And just kind of like overview what we have. We have the infrastructure, right? So we have all types of IPs. We have web unlocking technology. We have web unlocker and a remote browser. We're going to talk about the remote browser a little bit more because I believe it's one of the biggest products right now. I mean, the biggest challenge that LLMs have is just lack of access, right? They don't have access to the web. They have pre-trained data. They do have some kind of build searches that are usually doing not a bad job, right? It does get you some data. But if the website is anything protected by Cloudflare, Akamai, Datadome, any kind of like sophisticated bot detection system, it's going to get blocked, right? So integrating the MCP is very simple, right? It's a couple of lines of code usually. If you go to our GitHub page, we have here actually on how to integrate it with a couple of different services. Right, so I think we have a Claude integration here somewhere with even with a video. Hold on a second, let's see. Right, so work with Claude. Right, so here's basically a setup how you can add it to Claude. Now, guys, I do want to show you in a little bit. We're going to switch off. I'm going to run Claude, but not right now. I just want to kind of wrap it up a little bit on what MCP offers. So it gives LLM access to the web, unlimited access, right? To the point where we have a remote browser, and you can actually see it here, right? Scraping browser. A remote browser that your LLM can literally open a browser, navigate to a page, click, type, search, and get the results back. So it can literally be a human being. It can go and it can check and it can click and it can type, and it's amazing, right? So basically, you can tell it, hey, go to this website, do a search, provide me back the results. Or, for example, if I want to build a scraper, I'm always running Claude now with an MCP. I wanted to basically go to a page, extract, like build me a scraper that does ABC. Use Bright Data MCP to get all the information that you need. So it will go to the website, it will extract the HTML, it will build the scraper without me having to input any more data. Why? Because it already has the access to the data. So not just for the demonstration purposes. I'm going to ask to switch off to my other computer. I have a Claude running on a different system. Unfortunately, our work computers are a little blocked off, so I have my personal computer here. And I'm going to ask it, right? So basically, I'm going to ask it, I'm going to disable Bright Data right now. I'm going to just use the regular web search. And I'm going to tell it, please, well, let's not please it. Let's go to Walmart, do a search for headphones, provide back the first 5 results. So don't mind my spelling, guys. So what basically it's doing, it's try to fetch Walmart search. It failed. It got blocked. Walmart is pretty sophisticated in blocking. So now what it's doing is it's trying to trick, and it's trying to kind of get the information from different sources. It got robot or human. It still kind of got some information, but usually I found that what it does is it's performing some kind of a search inside, for example, on Google. Now let's see the difference in it using Bright Data. Do the same using Bright Data. So now I enabled the Bright Data MCP, and I'm having it's actually using a scraping browser to navigate, right? So if we can switch back to my work laptop, I'm going to show you guys, and I'm connecting right now to this engine. This is basically the view that the LLM has right now, right? So right now it's extracting the links. It's looking for the input. It's looking for this input right now, and I need to find search box, right? So basically it's scanning the HTML to find the search box, right? I'm just telling you guys what's going on the other screen. This part is a bit tricky because some of the selectors are little, so it might need a try or two, right? So it's not the fastest method, but it still has the access. And if you scale it horizontally, and you've got hundreds, thousands of these agents browsing, clicking, doing things, right? And I believe in the future of the web in general is going to be like the websites are going to be more LLM facing. And okay, it found the search input. It did headphones. Took a little bit of time. But yes, this is Claude right now using this browser. And it's insane, right? Because like it's not much out there on the market. So it got there. It's scraping. Let's go back to the other computer. Thank you. So basically, you see, it's got the info, and it's basically providing me the info back. This is the real information from Walmart, right? So it went there, it accessed it, it got the data back. It wasn't able to do it with the Bright Data MCP. With it was able to. So this is the benefits, guys. I mean, utilizing the Bright Data MCP. Let's switch back to the work laptop, please. Utilizing the Bright Data MCP is so crucial for some of the projects, especially if you want your LLM to have web data. It's on a different level. It's literally elevates everything because it lowers the hallucinations. It gives it can be like your partner, right? Hey, go there, do this. And I mean, like, there's a lot of companies right now working on AI agents. I don't know, guys, how hyped you are about those things, but I am. I mean, I would love to have an AI agent that will literally be my personal assistant that's going to nudge me and tell me, hey, you got to do this. Hey, let's go there. Let's do this, right? Something like. So I'm looking forward to it. And of course, remote browsers give a way for the LLM to actually interact with the web, because sometimes they're like, hey, go here, buy me this. And I don't want to deal with it. I want my LLM to go and purchase things for me. So we are looking for an exciting future. I believe that soon it's going to be available to everybody. But now you can do it yourself. Integrate Bright Data MCP into your LLM and have it do whatever you guys need. Now, I mean, I've been talking for about half an hour, and I did want it to be a bit interactive. So I see that there's a question from Aldito. Hi, does this work with pages like Amazon? Yes, of course. Amazon, any website, right? So whatever I just showed, I think that this probably was back in the Web Unlocker. So Web Unlocker works on all the domains, right? That's why it's called Web Unlocker. It works on anything. Amazon, of course. Walmart, any e-commerce site. Now, I'm not saying that it works on 100% of the website, right, guys? I mean, listen, there's some tough websites out there. I don't know how many of you actually have experience in scraping, but for example, if we go into Asia, things get very complicated. Those guys know how to block robots. But in general, most of the domains that we are used to and we're browsing will work with Web Unlocker. With a browser API, yes, as well. Both of these products do an amazing job in bypassing bot detections. And browser API can actually solve CAPTCHA as well. So if you go to a page, you hit a CAPTCHA, it's going to solve it. By the way, the MCP has a free tier, right? So if you guys want, sign up 5,000 requests. It's 5,000 HTML pages or so on, right? Depends on. It's not, like you won't be able to scale a huge project with it, but just to have fun, experiment and build something, a prototype of something should be more than enough, right? So MCP, yeah, guys, it's a game changer. So we've seen that, we've done that. Let's check out what's next on the agenda. So next was the SERP tracker. So for this, I have another script that I wanted for you guys to check out. Let's open it up. Let's clean these results up. We don't need that. SERP tracker. So what is SERP? SERP is Search Engine Results Page. It's a product that Bright Data created specifically for scraping search engines. So if we go to proxies and we go to SERP API, this is the product. It's very similar to Web Unlocker, but it's just fine-tuned for search engine, Bing, Yahoo, Yandex, Google, and so on. And we even have a playground here, right? So if you go to playground, you select SERP, and you can actually do different types of search, right? So Google has search, maps, trends, reviews, lens, flights, and so on, right? So all of these are supported. If you want to, you can also choose which domain, right? Google has all different domains. You can choose language, you can choose country. So for this test, let's check out. I'm gonna do US, and we're gonna keep it with English, and we are gonna do a geolocation. Are we gonna do a geolocation? Let's do New York. Oh my God, I can't spell. New York City, right? Let's do New York City. Let's do a pizza search for New York City. Let's see what kind of pizza they got there. I haven't been in New York in a while. I do know that they got some good pizza there. So basically, right now we're seeing results as if somebody from New York did a Google search. Now you might think, why would I need that? If you guys want to monitor your brand across different geolocations, this is crucial because, I'm based right now in Israel. And let's say that I have a company and I want to check how my company's search, like if I monitor, for example, Bright Data, right? I want to see if I do search Bright Data from Brazil, will people actually find me? Or Bright Data is going to be hidden somewhere far, right? So I need to be located there and so on. I do see another question. Hi, Rafael, regarding the web scraping to extended. Let's say after one gets the headphones details from the site, how would you recommend we go about so we get notified if a headphone is around price point, let's say 65? Okay, so basically, you're talking about monitoring already something, right? It's not something like you will probably need a script that will check the headphones or perform the search, I don't know, every maybe 10 minutes, 20 minutes. It depends, of course, on your budget. The more frequent you do the update, the more money you're spending on scraping and processing the data. My recommendation is maybe set up a script that will once an hour do a search and check specific, right? You already chose the headphones, it's $65, right? So you have the URL of these headphones. All you need to do is you send the request with Web Unlocker, get the HTML back, check if the price changed. If the price changed, alert notification. So it's a little app that you need to build. Nasairo, you probably can do this with, there's a lot of low-code environments out there, make.com. You can actually set it up with N8N as well. You can set up a monitoring where you send the request, check, process it, maybe with LLM. I mean, again, LLM is not the cheapest way to go about it. So if you guys want to scale, I would never recommend processing things with LLM. I always recommend, have some kind of a script that actually does a lot of work. But yes, so once an hour, scrape the page, see the price. If the price drops below, notify. In N8N, you can actually get notified in WhatsApp, I believe, or Telegram. They have nodes for that. So again, let's get back to SERP really quickly. As we can see, these are the pizzas, right? So Pizza Hut. They pay a lot for advertising. Always number one. No, it's a lot of countries where it's number one. Um, so basically, this is it, right? So if I want to change, let's say, let's do the same thing for Spain. Let's see what Spain is eating. What kind of pizza? Spain doesn't have Pizza Hut first. Oh, they do have Pizza Hut third, right? So key monitoring, something that I want to show you guys. So let's get back to this code. So I prepared a little bit of a code here, kind of showing you what a tracker is, right? So here I have a few words, and I'm just checking kind of like, okay, if I do a search for Bright Data, where is Bright Data brand located? If I'm doing a Major League Hacking, where's the Major League Hacking? Circular Saw, I want to see where Amazon is, right? So keyword, what I'm monitoring. So I'm using for this country US, I'm going to use language English, and I don't know if I need to go through the code, but basically this is the search parameter. I'm using google.com. And let's get it started, right? So here we can see starting a keyword. I'm doing it async. I didn't want to just kind of like bomb everything and then kind of like, have all three outputs right away. I wanted to go step by step. So number one, I did search Bright Data for brand Bright Data. So we found the results, and we can see that Bright Data was number one position. This was basically the result for response. I did a Major League Hacking search, and the first response was MLH. So also good. And now I'm doing a Circular Saw. And it's taking a bit longer because again, SERP, just like Unlocker, does have a retry logic. Google is a bit aggressive in blocking. So if we make a mistake and it blocks us, it will retry automatically. So that's what it feels like it's doing, like it's retrying on the back end. And here we have Amazon found at position number 3, right? So Amazon could do some optimization SEO for a word Circular Saw in the US because, well, we got Home Depot and we got Lowe's that are winning those, right? And of course, save the results to the database. You could set up alerts for position changing, track competitor rating, and so on, right? So obviously, it's not just one country. We can perform the same thing from a different country. Let's do Spain. Spain abbreviation is SP. I'm not sure why I'm doing Spain, but let's do Spain. ES, right? It's ES. But since I'm already doing Spain there, ES, let's just give it a try. I want to see. I haven't tried this. This is actually something that I haven't tried. Bright Data is still number 1. Let's see how Major League Hacking is doing in Spain. Still number 1. I guess there's not much. The keywords, Major League Hacking is pretty unique, just like Bright Data. So those keywords are kind of like easy too. But Circular Saw in Spain is actually number 1. So Amazon is doing better than, well, there's no Home Depot and there's actually no other brand. So basically, just by, now we checked and we can see that in Spain, Circular Saw is number 1 on Amazon and so on, right? So basically, set up monitoring for different locations, different keywords, save it in the database, and have kind of like an interactive system that you don't do it manually like I'm doing it now. Something that goes, something that checks, and so on. It will, I don't know if you guys are actually doing any SEO now or will be doing SEO. I'll be honest with you, SEO as is changing, right? Because, I mean, how many of you do Google search these days? Mainly, we open up an LLM, ChatGPT, and be like, hey, what's the best place to buy A? Oh, hey, how do I do this, right? So like interaction with the web is changing as we know it. So SEO will be changing, right? The way I see it is, if before you just needed to have like a rank, now you need to be the part of the answer, right? So when you do an LLM search, you need to make sure to be included. So the whole world is changing of how you do a search of how you actually stay on top of the results. But this is still works. I mean, Google is still being used. People still interact with it. So, and it's one of the challenges. So this is it. You guys have the access to the code. I believe the repository was shared with you. Only thing you need to do is create the .env file, add your API key in there, and you are good to go. Now let's see. Do we have any more questions? Anything? The code was shared, the repo was shared again, guys. It's only 2 scripts there, but it's help you kind of get a basic idea. And again, I want to tell you that this AI on the homepage is amazing. Can you build me a Node.js script for web unlocker to send request to a URL and get the HTML back? And it actually will do it. Now, I haven't checked it in a while, so I'm kind of like, hoping that it will do it, but it did it before. And I have really high hopes that it does it again because, well, this is the whole point of it, right? So it can do anything, right? It's trained on our data. You can literally throw a challenge in there. It will probably provide you with a solution. So yeah, this looks like it's good. The endpoint is good. Looks really good, right? So there you go, guys. Any questions about any Bright Data product, you can ask the system. Can I talk about some of the companies that are using Bright Data? Unfortunately, a lot of companies that we are working with, we have NDAs, but we do have well, firstly, here we have some of the trusted customers that are willing to share their names. I personally right now don't work with customers. I'm more dev related, right? Resources, partner programs. So we do have lots of partner programs, but we do have a page somewhere where we show and share kind of like people's, maybe it's on the bottom, testimonials, right? So let's see. Do I have testimonials? Yes, but then so on. Yeah, I wasn't really prepared, guys, to talk about some of the companies, but we have lots of customers, some of the Fortune 500 customers as well, on with us. You can see some of the partners that we're working with. It's big, right? So we are trusted by some big companies. If you're interested in use cases, we do have case studies. Oh, here we have some of the case studies from different companies, right? Kingston, for example. As you can see, guys, some big brands here. Shopee, right? So you can review it yourselves, guys. Bright Data, customer stories. If you saw it here, it's in resources, and it keeps and case studies. Okay. Any other questions? Oh, do you have any Bright Data use cases that will be helpful for beginners? Beginners, guys. So it all depends. I want you to understand what Bright Data is a little more. Bright Data is a data collection enablement platform. We help you or your LLM or your system to have access to any page. So a beginner's use case could be whatever you can think of, right? So again, I'm a beginner in what? A beginner in coding, a beginner in web collecting, data collecting, right? So some of the use cases, popular use cases, for example, in e-commerce price comparison. You have a store, you're selling the product that is being sold on 10 different platforms, and you want to make sure that your product on your platform is the cheapest. You scan those 10 products on 10 platforms with the same product and see, okay, the lowest price is $10. I want mine to be $9.99, right? That's some of the use cases. Social media listening, right? If you want to follow an influencer. Or again, if you want to kind of create something for yourself, right? So you know the prices change and you want this product, but you want to wait for it to be cheaper. Set up a listener, send the request, check if product is below this price, send me a message. Something just, kind of cool that you can set up yourself. Uh, but listen, to be honest with you guys, if you are beginners in coding, if you're beginners in all of this, my recommendation is use an automation system like an init and make Zapier, right? If you haven't used those, it's like, for example, N8N, I think is going to rock your world, guys, because it's so easy, intuitive. It's very just visually nice. Just make sure that you guys don't click this apps, because most of the projects with Bright Data is actually Bright Space Data, and you got about 137 different projects that you can check out and maybe get some of the ideas for your own projects. Any more questions? I mean, I did want to have it more interactive. So, guys, if you want to learn, this is the time. I do have a vast knowledge of scraping. I've been involved in scraping for almost 7 years now. Back in the day when scraping was easy, and the worst case scenario you get is, like one of those easy to read CAPTCHAs. Can web scraping be used as a DDoS attack? That's a great question, right? So, ethical approach. So, yes, web scraping can not use as a DDoS attack. Web scraping can cause a website to be DDoS, because if you send too many bots into it, you can overload a server. Overloading a server is basically a DDoS attack. And yes, of course, but with Bright Data, when you're using, for example, our products, we have rate limits in the backend. So we usually monitor, right? We have thousands and thousands of clients scraping pretty much the same domains. I mean, I'm sure we got at least a couple of hundred clients scraping Amazon, a couple of hundred scraping web on Walmart, and so on, right? So we constantly monitor these websites for response rate, right? So we want to make sure that when we're sending a request to, let's say, Amazon.com, we want to make sure that we get a response back. So as we are sending more and more requests to the website, we're constantly checking how fast it's responding. And if we feel that the response rates start slowing down, we start throttling, right? So we start slowing the scrapers down. We want to make sure that the website doesn't get DDoS. So in general, by using our products, you won't be able to DDoS because we do monitor. Now, proxies, it's not something that we monitor. Proxies is something that you will need to use, but when you're using proxies by themselves, they will block you, right? Our unblocking technology, we monitor because it's very sophisticated, and it's hard for the website to detect that it's a bot. And of course, we take a very ethical approach on scraping, guys. So I want you to understand another very important thing. DDoSing is not the worst thing out there. There's a difference between public data and private data, and I want to take a few minutes on that. Private data is data behind login. Private data is something that is usually private for the website, and it's not something that we scrape. We only scrape publicly available data. What is publicly available data? It's when you go to a website without logging in. For example, I'm not logged in. Well, yeah, I'm not logged in. Everything that I see right now is public data. So this is public data. This is public data. Now, if I want to check out the shipping cost, right? I'm not sure if it's publicly available here. Most likely, I will have to add it to cart, and then I need to proceed to checkout. And this is the moment where the data stops being public. Once I enter my mobile, once I log in and I click continue, everything after that is private. So don't collect private data. Always check terms and conditions of the website, right? Usually in websites, in terms and conditions that says don't use robots, don't, and don't. So when it says that, and you accept terms and conditions and log in, you are liable because, well, you accepted them. You said that you won't scrape, so why are you scraping? Right? So public data be without login. And also robots.txt. I'm not sure how many of you are familiar with that. Robots.txt is also important for those that I want to say super ethical. Robots.txt. So you see, these are things that are disallowed, some things are allowed, and so on. So this is also another thing, like you saw, it has different agents and so on, right? So it has a perplexity about disallowed and different things, right? So it's also a good thing to follow the robots.txt if you guys want to get extra ethical. And yeah, we actually have in Bright Data, we have Bright Initiative. We are actually trying to promote that scraping is ethical. If you do it ethical, scraping is okay. I hope that answered your question. Anything else? Any other questions you guys might have? How do you handle scaling for millions of requests? Okay, so well, it's very easy. Our architecture is automatically scalable to the point where if you need to, let's say, open 10,000 browsers, I don't know how many of you try to scrape. For example, on my work laptop, I can probably open about 15 browsers, which will take me forever to scrape a million. But we spool up the servers, right? So our infrastructure is scalable. You need 10,000 browsers. We will load 100, 200 servers up, open up the browsers for you, and good to go. So in Bright Data, our infrastructure, we have over almost 100 million IPs all over the world. So we can literally, we have the scalability to have millions and millions of requests. I mean, guys, we're dealing with petabytes of data a day. Petabyte is 1,000 terabytes, and it's huge. It's huge. Just like, we have a few domains that we're doing at like 10 petabytes a day. So Bright Data is huge. Our network is huge. We have load balancing servers all over the world, thousands of load balancing servers. We have millions of IPs for you guys to scrape the data with. And so it's, don't have to worry about the scale. The biggest problem is going to be you guys saving the data, right? So, I mean, if we open up 10,000 browsers, then my laptop's hard drive is going to choke, right? I one time tried, I think, 1,000 browsers, and like my hard drive went to 100% and everything crashed because I just couldn't save the data fast enough. So it's going to be more like the bottleneck is going to be on your side. It's for sure. Any other questions? Something I can address? Any advice that you guys need, want? I mean, I don't know how many of you are new scrapers, old scrapers. I have advice for everybody. Okay, so I guess there's no more questions. So I'm going to start wrapping up. I mean, I got like 7 more minutes, so maybe I will touch base on what else we have here. And Bright Data. So Deep Lookup is another new tool, guys, that you might need. I don't know if you need it. You don't need it for the challenges, but I do want to touch base on it. I believe this is revolutionary. Deep Lookup is basically, we created a system that can discover pretty much anything, right? Since we have access to all of the web, we decided that, hey, listen, let's simplify things for people. You want to find all SaaS companies using OpenAI GPT. This is going to spool up thousands of browsers. It's going to check out data sets. It's going to send requests to different endpoints. Basically, it's going to do a research, like a deep research that you guys ask. I don't know, familiar probably with ChatGPT, deep research, or Gemini has deep research and so on, right? Everybody has a deep research, but those deep researches are limited to pre-trained data and some of the websites that are not blocked. This deep lookup is not limited to anything. Guys, I've seen it do 100,000 URLs that it checked. It literally went to 100,000 URLs, extracted all the data from them, checked it, and built a table, right? So this in the end builds a table. Do I have something that I've done before? Let's see if I can. Basically, I had a client on one of the workshops, and they asked Oh, it was in Poland, right? So they asked civil unrest and protest events in Poland, and basically it built this table. It's a huge table. I mean, this is just a demo, right? So it's limited on the amount of results, but it gives me everything: the name, URL, a civil unrest, group source names, right? So it's building this huge table of crazy data that for researchers is just priceless, right? I mean, 4 or 5 years ago, I had a client asking, "Hey, listen, I want to basically scrape all Nike products in Italy." I was like, "What's the website? Tell me the domain, and we can scrape it." Now, this is a new way of doing things. Okay, what all Nike that are being sold in Italy, and it's going to build you a table. So guys, like it's a new revolutionary product. We just released it. I believe on the sign up you do get a few run tests. So this one, you see, it read 6,400 web pages. It's not even that big. Considered about 34,000, but it only looked through for 6,400. I don't know, for those that use the Chat GPT, usually you get like 300 sources, 500 sources at most. I mean, this takes it to a different level. And so yeah, that's pretty much it, guys. Covers kind of like everything that we have. We have proxies, we have APIs, pre-built APIs for different domains. We have data sets, pre-collected data, right? So just a quick example of what we have. Let's say Amazon products. And you can see that we got about almost 300 million records, 300 million Amazon products that you can filter through. For example, all headphone products or so on, right? So AI will actually do a filtering for you and show you the results to deep lookup, MCP, anything that you might need to collect data on scale, on huge scale. I'm talking about, guys, millions and millions of records. Our data sets are huge, and they're all collected with our infrastructure, so you can do it as well. Last call for questions, and then I'm kind of gonna wrap it up. I think the hour is upon us.
How's it going, Raphael?
Yeah,
It looks like we've got a quiet crowd in here today. I really
yeah.
appreciate you coming in. Yeah, like
Well, thank you for having me. I had fun. I hope people learn something new. Always willing to share because scraping. I don't know. I mean personally, I used to love writing scrapers. It kind of got boring now with all the unlocking technology because I think the coolest thing was kind of tricking the server, saying, "Hey, I'm a human."
yeah.
Now we just kind of like send a request, get the data back, but it's still automation, data collection, building those databases is something really exciting. I don't know if any of your viewers are excited as I am, but hopefully after this they are.
Yeah, absolutely. Just really quick, like, what kind of SDKs are you currently using when you're working with Bright Data? I'm assuming it's like Python or JavaScript, something to that
So
effect.
basically, yeah, I'm a more JavaScript guy, right?
Mhm.
So JavaScript access for sending requests and Puppeteer for browser automation.
Mhm.
We do have a Bright Data SDK for Python. You guys can literally Google it, and instead of having to create all these zones and everything that I showed you, we have an SDK library that you can send, like literally just get data URL. Right? It's crazy. Check it out. So for Python lovers, we have a lot of things coming.
Awesome. And it looks like folks are indeed saying thank you. We've got Jen, we've got Ronaldo here saying thank you. Learning a lot here. I really appreciate it. This is actually a pretty interesting topic for me personally. So I'm glad that we got to work with y'all. At any rate, folks, for everyone back home that's watching right now, you could check out our challenges for Global Hack Week. I'm going to drop the link here in chat. Raphael alluded to them earlier as well. Definitely check them out because it'll walk you through all of the features and functionalities that you saw today, other than maybe the last one that you saw. But outside of that, make sure you watch the recording. Everything that you need in order to complete these challenges are going to be located within the recording itself. And then we've got Tammy saying thank you here. Tammy and Cyril, very insightful session.
Thank
Wonderful
you,
stuff.
guys.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, once again, Raphael, thank you so much. Anything you want to say before we part ways here?
Guys, build a scraper, collect some data, get excited about it because listen, the data right now, it's the fuel, it's the oil of the 21st century. because I mean, all the LLMs are running on it. Petabytes of data is being scraped right now. It's the future. Get into it.
Amazing. It is the future. Happy scraping, y'all. We will see y'all next time. Keep it locked because we do have today in Global Hack Week coming up. Outside of that, thank you once again, Raphael. Thank you to the team at Bright Data for coming in and enlightening
Thank you
us
for having me.
all about it. Yeah, absolutely. Take it easy, y'all.
Alrighty. Take care, guys.